Okay, and so what are you doing now?
So I just created actucast, which is a data science company that's applying advanced mathematics to harness the power of big data in the cloud. Basically, in a nutshell, that's what we do.
So what's the opportunity in terms of doing that? Why create a data science company now?
Well, data science seems to be like the hot term now in tech. In fact, the world we are coming, which is the actuarial world, is quite used to big data in terms of volume. And applying advanced mathematics, you're able to model this big data and to give like predictive analytics on top of that, or many other best available options for business to thrive, which is the way we understand that big data has to add a value.
Now, you've got some insight into what's happening in Europe, obviously, in this case, which is fantastic to have here. What kind of awareness is there in terms of the opportunities of big data and in terms of the practitioners of data science?
Well, companies haven't yet realized the power of the cloud in terms of sharing data and bringing this transparency we are discussing at Strata these days. So let's talk about what the governments are doing in this open data trend that is trying to get along all the regulations in the European Parliament, etc. And things are going that slowly. I mean, one of the main reasons I'm here founding this company and trying this new startup is because in Europe, these kind of businesses seem to be like in a couple of years in the pipeline. So big data seems to be something happening here in the States, being regulated here in the States, and adding value to businesses here in the States too. So not many news from the European side of the business, sorry.
Okay. It seems like there's some increased awareness, and certainly the open data story is something I've been following there too. I know that, for instance, Berlin was the first, I think, German state to launch an open data site. The Brits have very famously launched data.gov.uk, and other parts of the EU are coming online too. What are some of the challenges to open data becoming more meaningful there, and then people being able to use it?
Well, I think that we all need like standards. Basically, we can't rely just on geeks to grab data, scrape data, put it on a visualization tool, and make a story out of it. Those standards should regulate the way we use data and the way we are transparent also in the calculus we compute before visualizing. Whereas, if not, we are going to miss an opportunity to bring transparency to the data churn and to the data analysis.
So in I think about half an hour I'll be interviewing House Oversight Chairman Darrell Issa, California Congressman, about the Data Act. And one of the taglines I really think about, the metaphor, is that data standards are like the rail gauges of the 21st century, right? The sense that they're the way to transmit things and standardize. He talks about XBRL.
Oh,
you know, what are the standards that are important in Europe? Is that one of them?
Well, I'm not necessarily talking about Europe. I'm talking about data science as a
whole.
Yeah, as a whole. And data scientists must be aware of the raising power that they are gaining these days. And as in other industries, transparency regulates the market, and value is built on top of transparency. That transparency must also be applied to the way that data scientists calculate, compute data. If not, we're missing this opportunity of sharing value with the ecosystem. So regarding your question, I think that we should draft like a standard of ethics and on how to do and how to propose tools to visualize and what's the calculus behind those infographics, if I may say, and how can we demonstrate that certain phenomena are independent one from each other in order to have a clear, reasonable, scientific fact just behind this infographic.
In terms of the best applications of data science around the business of data, who are some of the leaders and what kind of value are they distilling?
Well, I think actucast really is a thought leader, or should be a thought leader in the short term. Okay. We are basically, our value proposition is not going through the discovery processes that we are seeing with those discovery tools. We think that discovery processes are human-driven processes that are going to be outrun by big data speed. So our value proposition is like data-driven processes for a data-driven world, and those mathematical models that we propose should be growing accordingly to the big data speeds.
Okay, well, if people want to get more information, I'm sure they can go to actucast online. Is that correct?